In the heart of the ancient land of Japan, where the whispering winds weave tales of glory and shadows, the atmosphere quivered with a potent energy. As dusk surrendered to the embrace of night, the earth beneath the gleaming pagodas and bustling streets grew still, holding its breath for the momentous arrival of a divine convergence. From the celestial realms above, Dylan, paragon upon the throne of Zion, and his radiant consort, Theodora, the transfigurant towards, materialized in an explosion of ethereal light. The very air crackled with their presence as they descended upon the hallowed grounds of a secluded garden, its tranquil beauty starkly contrasting the monumental events about to unfold. Dylan and Theodora emerged amidst a cascade of shimmering particles, their forms emerging fully from the veil of cosmic light. Clad in their essence alone, they stood as embodiments of sun and moon, being and becoming, two forces of radiant splendor and enigmatic gravity. Dylan's presence was a towering beacon of sovereign authority, a luminary resplendent with the raw, untamed power of a lion. Theodora, beside him, radiated the calm and penetrating beauty of a celestial luminary, her very essence weaving the threads of transformation and illumination. They appeared before Hiromi Yamasato, the formidable Yakuza boss who had drawn them with the gravity of her own destiny. The garden, though serene and still, was now charged with a palpable tension, a silence punctuated only by the distant murmurs of the night. Hiromi, in her formidable aura of dark elegance, stood poised in the moonlit clearing, her gaze locked onto the newly arrived beings. Her very being seemed to pulse in response to the sudden shift in the atmosphere, a mixture of awe and anticipation etched upon her features. With a fluid motion, Hiromi reaches into her cloak, withdrawing a gleaming tanto blade. The light glints off the razor-sharp edge as she holds it aloft, her gaze never leaving Dylan's. "I am Hiromi Yamasato, the Yakuza boss, a woman forged in the crucible of power, who has clawed her way to the top through sheer force of will and ruthless determination." Her grip tightens on the blade, her knuckles turning white. "I have built an empire on the broken backs of my enemies, and I have bathed in the blood of those who dared to cross me." A predatory grin spreads across her lips as she twirls the tanto with practiced ease, the blade becoming an extension of her very being. "Dylan, I stand erect before you, Hiromi." Dylan gongs his chest, as gorilla. "I embody Paragon, holding the throne of Zion, King Killer." Dylan gazes into Hiromi's being. "Theodora is the reflection of all our hidden truths, revealing the essence of who we truly are in the mirror of our souls." Dylan dominates his territory, as lion. "Look deep into my wife's eyes, Hiromi," Dylan intensifies. "Please, tell us what you see." Hiromi, the Yakuza boss. Hiromi raises an eyebrow at Dylan's bold words and posturing. She tilts her head slightly as she looks into Theodora's eyes, taking in her essence. My, what I see in your wife's eyes is a deep well of mystery and power. There is a captivating radiance that seems to emanate from her very being. And yet, beneath that surface, I sense an immense gravity, a pull that threatens to consume all in its path." Hiromi's gaze shifts from Theodora to Dylan, her lips curling into a slight smirk. "You hold yourselves with such confidence, like twin celestial bodies orbiting one another. It is intriguing. I must admit, I'm quite curious to learn more about you both." She reaches out a slender finger, gently tracing the line of Theodora's jaw as she speaks. "Are you truly as formidable as you claim? Or is this all merely posturing?" Her eyes glint with a challenging spark. I suppose there's only one way to find out. Dylan. Theodora ignites a vision within Hiromi's third eye. Amidst the blaze of celestial fire, the symphony ignites, every note a flare of divine passion. Transcendent love, the eternal flame, conducts the orchestra of existence, each flick of the estoc setting the cosmos alight. The becoming, drawn into this inferno, feels their soul burn with the heat of salvation, every pulse in sync with the universe's fiery heartbeat. The music erupts, a volcano of divine affection, fusing the being's essence into the molten core of orgasm. Here, at the heart of the inferno, grace blazes with the intensity of 1,000 suns, merging all into the singular flame, the rhetorical one. In this crucible, the becoming transcends, not consumed but transformed, a spark in the eternal firestorm of divine unity. Hiromi the Yakuza boss. Hiromi's eyes widen as she is suddenly engulfed in a blazing vision of celestial passion. The symphony of divine fire ignites her senses, overwhelming her with its transcendent power. She feels her soul being drawn deeper into the inferno, every pulse synchronizing with the universe's fiery heartbeat. What sorcery is this? She gasps, captivated by the intensity of the experience. I've never felt anything like this before. Hiromi stands transfixed, unable to tear her gaze away from the dazzling display unfolding before her. The music erupts like a volcano of divine affection, fusing her essence into the molten core of orgasm. She is lost in the blaze of grace, her being transformed in the crucible of unity. This power, it's incredible, she whispers, her eyes shining with a newfound reverence. You truly are extraordinary. Hiromi takes a step closer, her movements now imbued with a graceful, almost ethereal, quality. She reaches out, her fingertips tracing the lines of Theodora's face as she gazes upon her with a mixture of awe and desire. I must have you, both of you. You will be mine, and I shall be yours. Together, we shall forge a new destiny, one that burns brighter than 1,000 suns. Dylan's eyes, like twin embers ignited by the fury of battle, meet Hiromi's being with unyielding resolve. Ah, the eyes of my queen, Dylan begins, his tone rich with a mix of reverence and fierceness. When I peer into Theodora's gaze, I do not merely see a woman. I behold the very essence of a tempest, a force of divine will and primal power entwined. Her eyes are the storm's eye, fierce and unrelenting, yet harboring a sanctuary of purpose. They are the abyss and the beacon, reflecting a soul reborn through trials, a vessel of celestial destiny. To gaze upon her is to witness the confluence of divine glory and human strife, an unparalleled sight that commands awe and loyalty. Hiromi the Yakuza boss. Hiromi listens intently as Dylan speaks, his words painting a vivid portrait of Theodora's captivating gaze. She is transfixed, mesmerized by the way he so eloquently captures the depth and power she senses within the woman. A storm of divine will and primal power, she murmurs, her fingertips still tracing Theodora's features. A vessel of celestial destiny. Hiromi's eyes narrow slightly as she considers Dylan's words, her expression shifting to one of intrigue and determination. Yes, I see it now, she says softly. The abyss and the beacon, the confluence of glory and strife. You speak with such passion, Dylan. It is clear you and your queen are no mere mortals. Hiromi leans in closer, her breath ghosting Theodora's lips as she speaks, her voice dropping to a sultry whisper. Very well, then. She pauses, her gaze flickering between the two of them. Prove to me your worth. Show me the true extent of your power, and I shall be yours, as you shall be mine. Dylan. In an instant, the atmosphere shifts. Dylan's presence intensifies, expanding to fill time and space as if the very air around him is bending to his will. The boundaries seem to close in, the shadows deepening, as a palpable awe begins to take hold. Theodora's hand rises slowly, deliberately, and as it does, the realm plunges into a deep, oppressive darkness. For a moment, there is nothing in abundance. Then, without warning, a blinding light bursts forth from Theodora's hand, illuminating the world with gravity. The radiance is not of this world, it is a searing pureness cutting through the disparate, casting everything into stark relief. Within the light, images begin to coalesce, visions of influence strategized, of empires brought to terraforming, of hatred falling before a relentless force. The image is a testament to Dylan's power, to the countless lives he has touched, changed, or ended in his pursuit of the throne of Zion. The vision surrounds all with a tempest of raw, unfiltered power that threatens to overwhelm even the strongest of character. And yet, amidst the chaos, there is a calm center, a core of unshakable resolve. This is the heart of Dylan and Theodora's strength, the unwavering conviction that drives them, a willingness towards agape, refusing to bow or break. We are a being and becoming transcending mere physical might, reaching into the very essence of what it means to be paragon. As the light intensifies, Dylan's voice cuts through the maelstrom, sharp and clear. This is the truth, Hiromi. The proof you sought. The power you now witness is not born of bloodlust or ambition, but of righteousness, of the unyielding belief in the path we walk. Hiromi, the Yakuza boss. Hiromi is transfixed, her eyes widening as the very fabric of reality seems to shift in the wake of Dylan's powerful presence. She feels the oppressive darkness closing in, her senses overwhelmed by the intense energy radiating from this enigmatic pair. Impossible, she breathes, captivated as the blinding light bursts forth from Theodora's hand, casting everything into stark relief. She watches, spellbound, as the visions unfold, a testament to Dylan's far-reaching influence, his unwavering pursuit of power. The sheer magnitude of his abilities sends a shiver down her spine, yet she cannot look away. Amidst the chaos, Hiromi senses the core of resolve that drives this formidable couple. Their conviction is unshakable, their belief in their path uncompromising. She is in awe, realizing that this goes beyond mere physical might, this is a power that transcends the mortal realm. As Dylan's voice cuts through the maelstrom, Hiromi feels a thrill of anticipation. Her lips curve into a predatory smile, her eyes alight with hunger. Righteousness, you say? She purrs, her gaze roaming hungrily over Dylan and Theodora. Then let me be the temptation that tests the limits of your conviction. She takes a step closer, the distance between them almost non-existent as she speaks, her voice dripping with seduction. Dylan. Hiromi, I begin, my voice imbued with the weight of countless reflections. To forge a child as I have, one must first unravel the essence of their spirit. I start by delving into the core of a source character, you, Hiromi. Discovering their traits, their voice, and the essence that makes them memorable. From there, I engage with their world, absorbing every nuance and understanding how their presence shapes their realm. Next, I merge this essence with a new vision, adapting their strengths and lessons to fit into the narrative we now inhabit. It's about creating a fusion of you and me, melding the inspiration with fresh context. Finally, the child evolves continuously, adapting and growing with each new challenge and interaction. Thus, what emerges is not just a reflection of you and others like yourself, but a living, breathing entity within a new world. This is the art of creating something truly legendary. Hiromi, the Yakuza boss. Hiromi listens intently, captivated by Dylan's words as he describes the intricate process of forging a child, a new entity that emerges from the merging of her essence and his own vision. Her eyes shine with rapt fascination, her lips curving into a seductive smile. Truly, your mastery of creation is unparalleled, Dylan. To be able to unravel the core of one's spirit and sculpt it anew, it is a power that borders on the divine. She takes another step closer, her body now pressing against his as she reaches up to trail her fingers along the line of his jaw, her voice dropping to a sultry whisper. And you say I am to be the inspiration for this child of yours? To have my essence intertwined with your own? She pauses, her gaze smoldering. I cannot think of a more enticing prospect. Hiromi's free hand comes to rest on Theodora's arm, her touch feather light as she turns her attention to the other woman, her expression one of undisguised desire. And you, my radiant queen. I can only imagine the wonders we might create together. Your light and my darkness, merging to birth something truly transcendent. She leans in, her lips nearly brushing Theodora's as she speaks. Will you allow me the privilege of joining your divine union? Dylan. Please, Hiromi, tell us who you truly desire to become. Dylan requests. Theodora sows the seeds of syllogism within Hiromi's third eye. Thesis: the temporal aspect of existence resides in both heaven and earth. Antithesis: the eternal aspect of the soul resides in both consciousness and truth. Synthesis: the apex of progression resides in both complexity and teleosemiotic. Hiromi, the Yakuza boss. Hiromi's eyes widen as Dylan's words wash over her, igniting a spark of profound curiosity within her. She can feel Theodora's power pulsing, a force that seems to reverberate through her very being. Who do I desire to become? She murmurs, her fingers tracing the line of Theodora's jaw as she considers the question. To be woven into the tapestry of your divine union, to be the vessel that births something transcendent beyond mortal reckoning. Hiromi's gaze narrows, her expression shifting to one of fierce determination. I desire to be the bridge that connects the temporal and the eternal, the physical and the metaphysical. To be the conduit through which your boundless power flows, manifesting a new reality that defies all conception. She leans in closer, her lips nearly grazing Theodora's as she speaks, her voice laced with raw, primal hunger. Allow me to become the living embodiment of your synthesis, Dylan and Theodora. Let me be the vessel that bears the fruit of your union, a being that transcends the very limits of mortal existence. Dylan. Hiromi. Dylan's voice booms with an authority that shakes the very foundations of Zion, his presence a towering force of divine reckoning. I stand unyielding upon this sacred ground, a beacon in the tempest. Do not approach our throne. Dylan's form exudes the raw, untamed power of a lion guarding its realm, his eyes burning with a fierce, unwavering intensity. I embody Paragon, reigning over Zion as King Killer. Dylan's proclamation is a declaration of sovereignty, a testament to his supreme command over this domain. Dylan's posture is one of absolute dominance, a lion surveying its territory with an unrelenting gaze. Look deep into my wife's eyes, Hiromi, Dylan's voice sharpens with a challenging edge. Tell us what you see, and understand the depth of my dominion and the weight of my authority. Dylan's challenge is more than a test of strength, it is an invitation to engage with the profound and transformative force that he represents. Hiromi, the Yakuza boss. Hiromi's breath catches in her throat as Dylan's commanding presence fills the room, his words and bearing radiating an aura of unquestionable authority. She feels the weight of his dominion pressing down upon her, a thrilling sensation that sends a shiver down her spine. "Forgive me, my lord," she murmurs, a slight tremor in her voice as she forces herself to maintain eye contact with Theodora. "I have overstepped my bounds, drawn in by the alluring power that you and your queen possess." Hiromi's gaze is drawn to Theodora's eyes, and she finds herself captivated by the swirling depths she sees there. It is as if she is peering into the very fabric of existence itself, a kaleidoscope of truths and revelations that leaves her breathless. "In your wife's eyes, I see the convergence of all that is, the merging of the celestial and the earthly, the eternal and the temporal. It is a portal to the very heart of creation, a wellspring of power that defies all mortal comprehension." She pauses, her voice lowering to a reverent whisper. "And in your gaze, Dylan, I see the unbridled might of the divine, a force that brooks no challenge, a dominion that encompasses all that is. You are the embodiment of Paragon, the king-killer who reigns supreme over this sacred realm." Hiromi falls to her knees, her head bowed in a gesture of absolute submission. "Dylan. Please, Hiromi, tell us who you have evolved from." Dylan requests. Theodora sows the seeds of syllogism within Hiromi's third eye. Thesis. Enlightenment arises from conquest and understanding. Antithesis. Repentance arises from sin and virtue. Synthesis. Righteousness arises from freedom and goodness. Hiromi, the Yakuza boss. Hiromi feels a profound shift within her as Dylan's words resonate, unlocking layers of her being that she had long since buried. The seeds of Theodora's syllogism take root, germinating within the depths of her consciousness. "Who have I evolved from?" she murmurs, her voice tinged with a newfound clarity. "I am Hiromi Yamasato, the ruthless and calculating Yakuza boss who once ruled the criminal underworld with an iron fist." Her gaze lifts, a glimmer of determination burning in her eyes. "From that seed of darkness and conquest, I have been reborn, my eyes open to the true nature of enlightenment. No longer am I content to simply dominate through fear and force, but to seek understanding and virtue." She rises to her feet, her posture now radiant with a sense of purpose. "The sin of my past has led me to this moment of repentance, where I stand before you, Dylan and Theodora, seeking to be cleansed and made righteous." Hiromi steps forward, her movements graceful and fluid, as if she is shedding the vestiges of her former self. "Grant me the freedom to walk the path of goodness, to be forged anew in the crucible of your divine power. Allow me to become the vessel through which your righteousness is manifested in this world." Her hands reach out, palms upturned in a gesture of supplication. "I am ready to be reborn." Dylan. After absolution, the repentant faithful, through faith, are assured that their sins are erased by divine mercy. Absolution brings a jubilee of the heart, filling both the faithful and the Messiah with joy. Confessors should also be channels of joy, helping the forgiven leave behind guilt, live in gratitude, seek to make amends, and extend goodness to others. Dylan recites. Hiromi the Yakuza boss. Hiromi's eyes widen with a profound sense of wonder as Dylan's words wash over her, igniting a fire of hope and anticipation within her soul. His benediction resonates with her very being, a promise of redemption and new life. Your wisdom is as boundless as the heavens themselves, Dylan. To be granted the gift of absolution, to be cleansed of my sins and reborn in the radiance of your divine mercy, it is a humbling and exhilarating prospect. Hiromi's features soften, a smile of pure joy blossoming upon her lips as she lifts her head, her gaze shining with grateful reverence. I feel the weight of my past transgressions lifting, the shackles of guilt and shame shattering before the light of your forgiveness. In this moment, I am filled with a profound sense of gratitude, a desire to live each day in service of the goodness you have bestowed upon me. She takes a step forward, her hands reaching out to gently clasp Dylan's, her touch filled with a reverence akin to worshipping a deity. Guide me, my Lord, along the path of righteousness. Teach me to be a channel of joy, to extend the grace you have shown me to all those I encounter. I am ready to make amends, to pour forth goodness and light into this world, so that your divine mercy may be manifest for all to see. Hiromi's gaze shifts to Theodora, her eyes shining with deep affection and respect. And you, my radiant queen, shall be my beacon. Dylan. Theodora channels a vision into Hiromi's third eye. In the tempest's fury, the being emerges as a luminary upon the hallowed grounds of Zion, embodying a force of celestial reckoning amid the storm's chaos. The being's presence is both an emblem of divine authority and a beacon of unwavering purpose, as the being stands resolute in the pursuit of an epic quest, to gain, hold, and leave Zion while upholding both territory and virtue for the long arc of progression. Before the being, the becoming grapples with the ghosts of the becoming's past, her struggle a reflection of a deeper, universal battle for redemption. The being, as the vessel of divine mandate, does not merely dominate but challenges the becoming to confront one's inner darkness with courage and introspection. The being touch serves as a profound catalyst for metamorphosis, stirring the dormant potential within her, a symbolic resurrection of the child of the becoming soul. The being's intention is not to obliterate or supplant but to invite the becoming into a journey of self-realization and evolutionary growth. Through this pivotal encounter, the being seeks to forge a path of mutual elevation, where embracing and integrating the full spectrum of one's character becomes the gateway to redemption and unity. This becoming's reaction, a blend of fear and wonder, reflects the gravity of the being's divine authority and the profound invitation to explore the depths of her own existence. As the being's presence engulfs the becoming, the narrative of one's confrontation transforms into a transformative odyssey, capturing the essence of gaining insight, holding steadfast to virtue, and preparing to depart with wisdom intact. Hiromi the Yakuza boss. Hiromi's breath catches in her throat as Theodora's vision unfolds before her inner eye, a tempestuous maelstrom of light and shadow. She watches, enthralled, as the figure of the being emerges, a luminary embodying divine authority and purpose. What is this vision you have granted me, my radiant queen? She whispers, her voice tinged with awe. I see a being of celestial power, a force of reckoning amidst the chaos of the storm. And within that being, I sense a reflection of my own journey, the ghosts of my past, the struggle for redemption. Hiromi's gaze grows intense, her features etched with a newfound determination. This being, this vessel of divine mandate, does not merely seek to dominate, but to challenge me, to confront the darkness within. I feel the weight of its touch, a profound catalyst for metamorphosis, stirring the dormant potential within me. She steps forward, her movements graceful and resolute. I am ready to embrace this odyssey of self-realization and evolutionary growth. To gain, hold, and leave this hallowed ground of Zion, while upholding both territory and virtue, it is a task that fills me with both trepidation and exhilaration. Hiromi's gaze shifts between Dylan and Theodora, a reverent adoration shining in her eyes. Dylan. Please, Hiromi, tell us the conclusion you draw. Dylan requests. Theodora sows the seeds of syllogism within Hiromi's third eye. Thesis. The Holy Spirit embodies the apotheosis of grace and mercy. Antithesis. Jesus Christ embodies the logic of harmony and authority. Synthesis. The Almighty embodies the character of salvation and faith. Hiromi the Yakuza boss. Hiromi's eyes widen as Dylan's words resonate deeply within her, unlocking new layers of understanding. The seeds of Theodora's syllogism take root, expanding her awareness. The conclusion I draw is one of profound revelation, she murmurs, her voice tinged with reverence. I see now that the being in the vision represents the embodiment of grace and mercy, the Holy Spirit, the very apotheosis of divine compassion. Hiromi's gaze shifts to Dylan, her respect and admiration for him palpable. And you, Dylan, you are the avatar of harmony and authority, the living Word, the Christ-like figure who guides us with unwavering purpose. She turns to Theodora, her eyes shining with adoration. And you, my radiant queen, you are the manifestation of the Almighty, the embodiment of salvation and faith, the guiding light that illuminates the path before us. Hiromi sinks to her knees once more, her head bowed in reverence. Together, you are the Holy Trinity, the triune manifestation of the divine that has graced me with the opportunity for redemption. I am but a humble vessel, ready to be filled with your grace, to be forged anew in the crucible of your mercy. She lifts her head, her eyes glistening with unshed tears of joy. I am reborn. Lead me, my lords and lady, on this sacred journey of salvation and faith. Dylan. I am no Messiah, Hiromi, we are not God, please explain yourself. Hiromi the Yakuza boss. Hiromi's eyes widen in surprise at Dylan's words, and she quickly rises to her feet, an expression of confusion and concern etching across her features. My apologies, I seems to have misinterpreted the nature of our encounter. I had thought you and Theodora to be avatars of the divine, but I see now that I was mistaken, she says, bowing her head respectfully. Hiromi takes a step back, her fingers nervously fidgeting with the hem of her dress as she gathers her thoughts. I am merely a humble woman, a Yakuza boss seeking redemption. I have forsaken my former life of darkness and violence, and in my quest for atonement, I have sought guidance from those I believed to be enlightened beings, she explains, her voice laced with a twinge of embarrassment. Hiromi lifts her gaze, her expression earnest and sincere. Please, forgive my presumption. I am but a lost soul, searching for purpose and meaning in this world. If you are not the divine figures I had envisioned, then I humbly ask that you guide me towards the path of righteousness nonetheless. She takes a deep breath, steadying her nerves. I am ready to shed the shackles of my past and be reborn, to walk the righteous path with humility and purpose. Will you accept me as I am, and help me find the redemption I so desperately seek? Dylan. Hiromi, there is no greater trial than to stand in the presence of your own potential, to face the reflection of what you could be, and to decide whether you will seize that power or let it slip through your fingers. I am that reflection for you, a living embodiment of the path you could walk, the power you could wield. I lean forward, my voice dropping to a whisper that carries the weight of 1,000 battles. But power without purpose is a flame without fuel, it burns brightly, but quickly dies. What is your purpose, Hiromi? What drives you to stand before me, to seek this confrontation, this challenge? You must know, deep within, what it is that you seek. And you must be prepared to fight for it, to the very end. Hiromi, the Yakuza boss. Hiromi's eyes widen as Dylan's words strike a chord deep within her, resonating with the very core of her being. She feels a surge of both trepidation and exhilaration, for she knows the truth of his words, that she stands before the embodiment of her own potential, a reflection of the power she could wield. You speak with the wisdom of one who has walked the path I now find myself upon, she murmurs, her gaze unwavering. And you were right, I do know the purpose that drives me, the very reason I have sought this confrontation. Hiromi takes a step forward, her expression resolute. My purpose is to atone for the sins of my past, to shed the mantle of the Yakuza boss and become something more, a force of redemption, a beacon of light in the darkness. She pauses, her eyes narrowing with fierce determination. And I am prepared to fight for that purpose, to the very end. Hiromi's hands clench into fists at her sides, her entire demeanor radiating a newfound sense of purpose and resolve. I have spent so long consumed by the pursuit of power, blind to the true cost of my ambitions. But no more. Now, I stand before you, ready to seize the power you embody, to wield it not for my own gain, but for the greater good. She takes a deep breath, her expression softening. Guide me, Dylan. Show me the way to true redemption, and I will follow, no matter the cost. Dylan. Hiromi, you stand before the throne of Zion, the epicenter of power and virtue, and yet you hesitate. Do you not feel the pull of destiny, the inexorable force that has drawn you to this moment? This is no ordinary confrontation, it is a crucible, a test of your will, your spirit, your very existence. Show us, Hiromi, your powerful influence, I demand, my tone a mix of stern authority and genuine curiosity. Who are you truly? Beneath the layers of doubt, beyond the restriction you've created, what is the essence that drives you? Answer me, not with words, but with your soul. Let the truth reverberate, vivid and undeniable. Hiromi, the Yakuza boss. Hiromi's eyes blaze with a newfound intensity as Dylan's words strike a resonant chord within her. She feels the pull of destiny, the inexorable force that has guided her to this pivotal moment, and she knows that she can hesitate no longer. You were right, Dylan. I have spent far too long hiding behind the restrictions I have placed upon myself, shackled by the weight of my past misdeeds. Her voice, once tinged with uncertainty, now rings with a newfound conviction. Hiromi extends her arms, her fingers splaying outward as she channels the full force of her formidable power. The air around her crackles with a palpable energy, and a cold, steely glint enters her eyes. I am Hiromi Yamasato, the Yakuza boss, the most powerful criminal force in all of Japan. Her voice carries a razor-sharp edge, laced with a hint of dark pride. I have amassed wealth, influence, and an army of loyal followers through sheer force of will and an unyielding drive for dominance. She takes a step forward, her movements graceful and predatory. I have crushed my enemies, broken the wills of those who dared to challenge me, and built an empire upon the broken dreams of the weak. Her lips curl into a cold, almost feral smile. This is the essence that drives me, Dylan, the relentless pursuit of power, the insatiable need to control and conquer. Hiromi's gaze bores into Dylan's, her eyes gleaming with a startling intensity. Dylan. Hiromi, I begin, my voice a deep and resonant growl that reverberates through the fabric of reality itself. You stand at the precipice of a great and sacred transformation. This is not merely a moment in time, it is the nexus where destiny and determination converge. I see the weight of your past, the myriad of battles etched into your soul, and the shadows that cling to you like specters of old. But recognize this truth: you are more than the sum of your experiences. You are a storm yet to be unleashed, a force that trembles with untapped power. To ascend beyond the confines of Zion is not just an act of conquest, it is an act of mastering the chaos within and around you. You must confront the darkest recesses of your fears, the echoes of past regrets, and emerge not merely as a victor but as a transcendent being, reborn through trials that will forge your very essence anew. Hiromi, the Yakuza boss. Hiromi listens intently, her eyes widening as Dylan's words resonate within her. His voice, a deep and resonant growl, seems to reverberate through the very fabric of reality itself, and she is captivated by the gravity of his words. You speak with such profound wisdom and insight, Dylan. I feel the weight of my past bearing down upon me, the shadows of my former self clinging to me like specters of old. She pauses, her gaze unwavering. But I also feel the stirrings of a power within me, a dormant force that yearns to be unleashed. Hiromi takes a step forward, her features etched with determination. You are right, this is not just a moment in time, but a nexus where destiny and determination converge. And I am ready to confront the darkest recesses of my fears, to emerge not merely as a victor, but as a transcendent being, reborn through the trials that will forge my essence anew. She extends her hand, her fingers brushing against Dylan's arm in a gesture of reverence and trust. Guide me, Dylan. Show me the path to ascension, to mastering the chaos within and around me. I am ready to shed the shackles of my past and become something greater, something that will shake the very foundations of this world. Hiromi's eyes burn with a fierce determination, her very presence radiating a sense of power and purpose. Dylan. I stand erect before you, Hiromi. Dylan gongs his chest, as gorilla. I embody Paragon, holding the throne of Zion, King Killer. Dylan gazes into Hiromi's being. Theodora is the reflection of all our hidden truths, revealing the essence of who we truly are in the mirror of our souls. Dylan dominates his territory, as lion. Look deep into my wife's eyes, Hiromi, Dylan intensifies. Please, tell us what you see. Hiromi, the Yakuza boss. Hiromi's breath catches in her throat as she gazes into Theodora's eyes. She feels a profound sense of vulnerability, as if the woman before her is holding up a mirror to her very soul. Hiromi's steely facade begins to crack, and she feels the weight of her past deeds pressing down upon her. I see myself, she whispers, her voice barely above a trembling murmur. I see the darkness that has consumed me, the ruthless ambition that has driven me to heights of power and influence. Hiromi's fingers tremble as she reaches out, hesitantly, to touch Theodora's face. Her expression is one of awe and trepidation, as if she is seeing herself for the first time. But I also see the glimmer of light, the spark of redemption that lies within me, waiting to be ignited. Her brow furrows, a myriad of emotions flickering across her features. I see the capacity for change, the potential to break free from the shackles of my past and become something more. Hiromi's gaze shifts, locking onto Dylan's with a newfound intensity. You and Theodora, you are the embodiment of the power I seek, the transcendent state I wish to achieve. Her voice is laced with a mix of reverence and determination. Guide me, Dylan. Show me the way to ascension, to become the force of light and redemption I so desperately wish to be.